People, it's Conversations with Kobe. I'm back, people. It's been beautiful. I know you missed me last week, but I'm here. You know, there's been a lot going on in the news. We got a lot of things that we are dealing with, stressors, but I don't know if you've noticed Kwame Brown on his IG Live. It's interesting. I'm not going to get into too detail, but what I'm going to say is Kwame Brown was drafted number one in the NBA about 20 years ago. He didn't pan out to be what they thought he was going to be. So for years, the media, sports, ESPN, Stephen A. Smith, several analysts made him the butt of their jokes. And he's finally speaking out. And the thing that he said was interesting because he's attacking the media, some media stars and people going on, is the one thing he said is, we're sitting here, we need to be pushing each other up, not tearing each other down. There's so many things that they could have said without personal insults. And yes, he may not have panned out. Yes, he may not have been what everybody thought. And yes, he might not have been LeBron James, Magic Johnson, or even Kobe Bryant. But a lot of things that we need to reconsider, and it made me really look at myself, is the things that we do say about other Black men. And a lot of times other men in general, but I want to specifically talk about other Black men. And I can state facts and tell the truth without insults, verbal attacks, without demeaning or dehumanizing my brothers. So now for me personally, I'm going to work on making sure that I only uplift and support my brothers. And I told you, I like to really enlighten and inspire and educate other people. And so I'm going to take time to bring on my brother who inspires me, who I watch grow and I've seen grow, but challenges me to think differently about how I treat my community. But I'm going to bring on my brother right now, Brother Elton Custis. How you doing, brother?
All right, and you, Fred, how's everything, man?
Oh, everything is everything. I'm on my Lauryn Hill today.
I see. Look, listen, it was her birthday today, and I'm her number one fan.
Oh, okay. Now you might be number two, brother. We might have to have a discussion about that.
We'll talk about it later.
All right. All right. So I'm going to preface and let everybody know briefly who you are. That's Elton Custis. He's currently the mayoral candidate for Camden County. Now, this isn't a political podcast, but I want to talk about who Elton is because a lot of the things he's done has really opened my eyes, has really challenged me to be better, especially when it comes to my community. But I want to start off really letting my community, letting my family, letting my people around me get to know if you were someone else, right? If you were someone else and they were looking at you, how would they describe you? I want you to describe who is Elton Custis as if it was someone else.
Good question. I believe when people look at who Elton Custis is, they see loyal, dedicated person who just likes to have fun. He's very transparent. He gives energy all the time, wherever he's at, whatever he's doing. He's just that kind of guy that people want around. I believe like a socialite. I wish I could get paid for being a socialite, but I can't. Because that's the kind of energy that I always bring every time I go. Anytime Elton shows up, excuse me, I this third person thing, but Elton is just that person that can lighten up a room. No matter what kind of day you're having, it's just that energy. So that is just what I mean, he brings every time he's somewhere. Yes, he gets down. Yes, he has those days where he just don't want to be bothered, but it's only for a split second. It doesn't last the whole day. I mean, it's like a snap. And he can come right back on out of it and just be bubbly, be happy, and just a go-getter. Whatever he wants, he fights hard to go get it. That's it.
Wow. So you talked about being bubbly. You like to be around people. Now, I cyber stalked you. I insta stalked you, right? And I noticed that you got like a lot of family.
I do. Family is large. Family is large, and my extended family is even larger.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Explain how your family is. Talk to me a little bit about your family, and then also how it impacted you or helped you be who you are.
Correct. So my family is very large, but I come from a mother and a father, Elton and Nazelle Custis. And and I have brothers. So mom was a single mother who raised us here in the city of Camden. So there was a lot that went in with that. So my grandfather stepped in a lot. So my grandfather was known as my father for a long time. I would write his name on my papers when they say, "Who's your mother and father?" And then my brothers would be like, "Oh, you can't do that. That's like grandpa's sleeping with mom or something like that." And I'm like, "No, grandpa's our dad, man. Like he take care of us. He makes sure mom's good. He makes sure we good." So for a long time, because my father suffered with an addiction, a drug addiction, heroin addiction. I'm so happy today. He's 28 years clean now. So we have a great relationship as we move forward for us and the kids' sake. But those kind of things really just motivated me because I never wanted to be that kind of a person. So whatever my mom and dad did that I did not like, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, I'm not doing that. That's crazy. I don't see how she put up with that. I don't. So how mom just really just said, you know what, I'm going to step out on faith and just take care of him by myself with the help of my father and my grandmother on my dad's side, who played a really good part in our lives as well, important part. So, that was like the second mom to us. So, that all of that fused together. So it's so funny because some of my cousins are like my sisters and brothers and vice versa. Because we're just that kind of a blended family. Like I don't even call my older cousins cousins. They're like aunts and uncles. So, everything just mashed together because we're just that kind of family. So the kids are growing up confused now, like that's not really your aunt. All this time you've been calling the aunt or your uncle, and I'm like, yeah, that's mom's first cousin, but that's our cousin, so I call them aunt and uncle. But it's just they have just reared me in such a way. I mean, our support system is so huge. I can never say that I don't have support, even when I ran for other offices. I mean, the family comes out. Even when I was in a play, the littlest things, mom used to make everything. That's why I think I have the energy that I have, because if she told you she was going to be somewhere and she worked 3 jobs at one time, but I remember her being at baccalaureate, I remember her being at graduation, when I did honor society, whatever it was, she made sure she was in that front row. When I won King of the Castle, Is Custis was in the front row cheering as loud as the whole family. So, it's always just that makes me, if I tell somebody I'm going to be there, I show up. I don't care if I give you 10 minutes of my time. You're going to know Elton Custis was there because I'm going to scream you out. I'm going to shout you out. You're going to think you had a whole crowd of people when I show up. So that's just who I always been, because I think I learned it from my mother because that's who she is. So, I just carry it. So that's me. Family is me, and I love it. The extended family is the same way.
Like you said a few things, and you talked about being a go-getter, but from your work, and I want you to we're gonna talk about your love for Camden. That Camden is like your family in a sense. So tell
Camden
us
is my
about.
baby. I have no kids, so Camden is the baby.
So talk to me about your love for Camden. Like, where does it come from? But then, how has that really molded you and driven you?
So I think I started this back at an early age. I remember being in 5th grade at Parkside Elementary School. And I hated the food there. So I called home one day. I came home one day. I was like, Mom, I have to do something. Like the food here is horrible. They come in these little containers. You got to pop it open. I don't want to eat this stuff. Like it's just nasty. It's really nasty. So she was like, well, what are you going to do about it? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm really going to do about it, but I'll think about it because I have to do something. So I remember going back to school and starting a petition to get the food changed in 5th grade. And getting all my classmates all riled up, like, yeah, we don't want this food any longer. And I'm like, yo, I think we're going about it the wrong way. We got to be settled with it. So let's write down our concerns and let's get a group of people together and go to the principal so we can address our concerns. So I think that's where the leadership came from. Right then and there, I knew that I had people's ear and I can get people's ear, but I wanted to make sure that I was getting their ear to direct them in the right way, not just all rambunctious, like, you know what, we hate the food, we're not eating it and throwing it around. No, let's, do this strategically and let's get some answers. And with that being said, I think the love for Camden just came from the principal, who was Dr. Rock at the time, and all of the teachers. That's just inspiring. And just people in the community, like my neighborhood. I still live in the same neighborhood I grew up in. So 39 years I've been right here. So it is just the love that they show me. I just make sure that I give back because these are the people that reared me. I stand on the backs of so many shoulders. I stand on the shoulders of so many people. So if they were able to hold me and let me do what I do, I know that I'm able to do the same thing. So, I just try to be there like people were there for me. Like, I didn't ask people to help me. They just saw a light in me. And so now I want to just be that light that just shine for someone else as well. So no matter where I go, what I do, people are always like, oh my goodness, every job that I had, always like, well, why don't you work directly in Camden? I said, I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe Camden don't want me here because of the leadership qualities that I possess. Because, you know, I ran for mayor in '09, and I think that put like a black flag on me because I ran against a senator. Did I win? No, I did not win. But I think they were like, oh, who's this young boy and what do he think he got that we don't have? And why do he think he can jump the line and just become our leader here in the community at such a young age? So I think that's when I was blacklisted and I was not here. But also, I mean, although I was blacklisted from like the leadership roles here, there was still a lot of community service organizations that put me in as leaders. So I remember being a director at 19 years old of an after school program. So that's where I really started to see the birth of Camden come together for myself. So that's when I got involved in everything around here, whether it was a street cleaning, tree planting, I didn't care what it was. If it was whistling down the street with the kids or flying a kite, if they came to me like, Mr. E, can you help me? Can you help me? I was right there to help them. So, you know, Camden just have been really just bubbly to me. So, and welcoming. So I have always just tried to give that back, that spirit back to us. I mean, it's like the torch that was lit. And you know, we all carry this torch and we try to keep it lit to the best of our ability. And when it came to me, I just see that now I have to pass it on forward as well. And it's still being lit. So, you know, somebody else is going to shine brighter than me. But right now, I'm the brightest thing here in the city of Camden. I'll tell you that right there.
So that's beautiful. And you talked about your 5th grade experience. Tell me a little bit about like the Camden High, because I know like they're rebuilding. You kind of helped cultivate a lot of those things. So talk to me about how Camden High cultivated you.
So Camden High, there was so many amazing people at Camden High. I thought I was the principal at Camden High. You couldn't tell me a thing when I got there in 9th grade. You know, leadership is just something, I mean, you know, they say leaders are born, and I believe that is true because I knew it was already in me. So I ran for class president. I got it my first try in 9th grade, all the way up. Actually, 12th grade, I didn't get class president because I was just indoctrinated in so many other things. But, you know, so just the leadership qualities. I mean, I was involved in just about everything. That's the one thing I think the city of Camden is missing right now is just all of the activities that we used to have back in the day. I used to come home from school, and I mean late, and I used to take a shower, eat whatever Nazelle cooked us, my mother, and I would go right to sleep. Because we were always engulfed in things. Like there was always a teacher saying, Custis, don't you want to do this? Custis, don't you want to do Custis, I need you to be a peer mediator. Custis, we going on a trip next week. Make sure your mom sign this because you need to talk to your peers and do things. So I always had that those leadership qualities because people saw something in me that I really didn't see in myself. Believe it or not, I was a shy guy. And I used to always just sit and play the back of the room until it was time to take the test because I wanted people to know I know the answers. I got it. So that's when I would move my seat to the front of the classroom. But as I just started, you know, just getting out in my own skin in my own way and doing things in the school building, that's when I really know right then and there that, you know, you have the leadership qualities, just lead, just be you. I remember I ran for Mr. Camden High, and I'm like, yo, I really don't want to be on this stage in front of all these people. But, you know, my peers and you know, the teachers in the school like, Elton, no, you have it. Just go do it and see what you got. Like, dance, sing. I know you can do it all. So just do something and let you woo the people. And that's what we did. We danced for the people, and we you know, they was like, oh, Elton, I never thought you can do that because I have always been a heavy set dude. I ain't going to front for anybody. So, you know, the way I'm just very smooth with what I have. That's it. God bless me to be a blessing to others, and I give him what he blessed me with. That's it. But the leadership qualities have always been in me. And I think it's because I come from a strong Black woman who's my mother. And also my brothers are strong brothers too. So, you know, we learned it at an early age, just to speak up, stand up, be bold in whatever you want to do. Fear is not a factor in this family. If you are Custis and that blood runs in you some kind of way, we don't talk about fear. We just go ahead and do it. Look, listen, we take the consequences later. But the one thing I know that is blanket over this city is fear. No one wants to stand up and just be bold. You have to in order to take things back for yourself and for your community. And that is what we're going to do. That is what I'm doing.
I hear that. That was interesting. Shy, Elton Shy, Don't
Oh yeah.
believe it. Yeah, I don't
Oh
believe that.
yes, sir.
I hear you, but I don't believe it. Miss Custis, she's gonna have to understand that, like, she's gonna have to take me in and fix me some of those meals. I need some of that love too.
Absolutely.
Um,
We're having a fish fry this Saturday here in the city for a fundraiser. So if you're around,
all
come
right,
on.
no doubt. We'll definitely try to make that happen.
Okay.
Now let's. So what did, like? I know you're into politics. We already established you were a mayoral candidate. You've also been on school boards. What were you doing before politics, though? Like, how did? What? Tell me about that journey.
So before politics, I was just, a regular dude walking the streets of Camden and just working. So I just was doing community service projects around the city. Politics is something my aunt keeps telling me that I was around maybe I think she said 8 or 9 when I came out of the room one day at my grandma's house and said, one day I'm gonna be the mayor of Camden. And I cannot remember this. I'm trying to remember it and play it back, but I can't remember that. But I always know that I have always been that one that just always stood out. So, sports wasn't my thing. I didn't play sports, but I always did like, the academic thing. So if it was IPLE, which was a legal and a government thing that we did around the state of New Jersey, whether it was student government, all that stuff, I have always been involved in that. But I was just a regular guy. I mean, in everybody's conversation, and I was that dude right there. So if something was going on in the block, I knew. From down the street to around the corner, I was coming to let you know, like such and such is going on, and you got to calm it down. So I was always engaged in that kind of stuff, and just helping the community, just point blank. Period. I hate the spotlight. I can't tell you how much. I even hate interviews. I hate it all. But I know it's part of what I need to do in order to get things done. But I'm just a regular guy. I just like to have fun. Like I said, I'm a social, like, I don't want to call myself a butterfly because I'm not a butterfly, but I am that guy that just like to, just come around people, have a good time, enjoy, and just be free, be easy.
I hear that. So you talked about your community service work. Now I need you to explain some of those things, because I know you're a member of my fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I should say you're a member of our fraternity, right? But you do something that's phenomenal inside of that for Camden.
Yes.
You do a community day.
Yes.
You spearheaded that. That's one of your babies.
Baby.
Talk to me about like the community day.
So the community day, I remember just sitting in the office, and our chapter used to always just do a barbecue or a picnic for us, like a barbecue just for the brothers and our families at the end of the year, at the end of the summer. And we used to just come together with our family and our close friends and things of that nature. And we used to just feed each other, have a good time. And I'm like, one day I'm just sitting there and I'm like, this is all well and good. How about we do something bigger and take it back into Camden City, where we're birthed at, this chapter, and really just open it up to the community as a whole. So, it started really, really small at first. Like, brothers like, yeah, it sounds good, but how are we going to get it done? So I just reached back into the community and just started talking to a lot of the organizations and to the city of Camden, and just asking them to be like, help us spearhead some things, help pay for some things here in the city, like partner up with us in the city and sponsor, some things here in the city for us to have a really good event here in the city of Camden. So we bring the kids out. We have had over 500 people in the park at any given time. This is probably, I think, our 5th year doing our annual barbecue community day in the city of Camden. We couldn't do it last year because of COVID. So this year we're really trying to work to see if we're able to do it again, and a bigger and better because we want the kids to have fun. We want them to be free. We've been locked up in these homes for a long time. But yes, community day is my baby. So, I mean, although I don't work directly on it like I used to, I always make sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, no matter who is spearheading it now. Because, like I said, it started with me, so I always want to make sure that we're getting the just due. So we bring resources to the city, whether it's helping with your electric, your water bill, your rent. Like, we have these tables set up, mental health tables. We do a whole lot on that day to bring the community out. So the resources are here. If you have information and resources to people and they will come out and get it in a centralized location, they're going to run out and get it, because we all can use some kind of help. Even if we don't say it, when you're walking the neighborhood, when they walk past those tables, they're like, oh, dang, I can use that. Today, I went to an event and I picked up a whole lot of resources that I put up on my Facebook page so people can have it, so they can know that there's jobs out here. There's help with your water, your electricity. So that's the kind of stuff that I enjoy doing. Community service is nothing more to me than, eating breakfast every morning, because I love it. It's cultivated in my spirit. That's why when finding a fraternity was not hard, because Phi Beta Sigma most certainly engulfed community service. That is what it's about. And so when I saw the brothers doing it, I had to be a part of that, because it's a bigger scale and we can get a lot more done.
Wow, that's deep. You got me going. I've been a member for 26 years, and you motivated me. I need to go do some community service.
It's always a lot here in the city for us. So come on,
brother. All you got to do is call me. You know how we do.
Absolutely.
What? So we get community and people motivate you.
Yes.
But what are your interests, or what things inspire you when you're sitting at home? What things make Elton Custis get up?
Well, the first thing, it will be God that makes me get up. Okay.
Yes,
that's what he does.
Amen.
But the second, most certainly, is community. And I said every day when I'm knocking on doors or I'm walking the street, the community is what lights my fire. The people, because I know, I don't know, maybe I'm a little crazy, but it really does something to me when I can have an honest, open, transparent conversation with someone who does not know me. And I'm just walking down the street and they're like, oh my goodness, that's the guy on the poster. Can I give you a couple of words? Can I speak to you? Can I rap with you a little bit? And I'm like, oh yeah, I got time. Like, I have time. I always tell people I am one of the busiest people, but I will make time for whoever asks me to make time for them. So the community really, really excite me. They enlighten me. And just like I said, my mother, I think, because she worked 3 jobs, everybody used to be like, oh, I think y'all Jamaican. I think y'all, no, we just love what we do. So it's not anything for me. I mean, just last year I was working 3 jobs, because I worked the hospital, I did overnight at a mental health institution, and I also did my own little one too with my own company that is about to flourish even bigger now. But so I have always just had that drive in me. So I don't know, it's just something about the community that really gets my gears going and have me up early in the dawn into the early mornings and the next day, because I just love what I do. I don't know. Like I said, it might be me. I'm just probably a little nuts, but I really love working with people in my community and helping my community, because that's what gives me the joy every day.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. But look, I know you're a busy man. I told you I don't want to take too much of your time. You inspire me. You keep me moving. I appreciate you. Everybody out there in my community, that's my brother, Elton Custis. Much love. We're going to wrap this up. I want you to go check out this brother and some of the things he's doing in the city of Camden. I also want you to know, and I'm zoning out, soon Conversations with Kobe will only be on YouTube. So you need to go there, like and subscribe. But while you're doing that, I need you to check out my brother, Elton Custis. You know what I mean? This is Conversations with Kobe. We love you out there. Be peace. Stay positive. Much love. Good night.